see what it's doing. You see we got mold happening here. Water over time, it just acts like a sponge through capillary action. It just pulls it up. Welcome to Tile Coach. I'm Isaac Ostrom. Today I got a great video for you. We're starting to do the remodel on the job that we did last week where we ran into a shower failure. Let's see what's going on. We're starting to tear out. So you can see we got the air scrubber set up behind me. Zach's working on getting everything off in the back. But there's our air scrubber set up. We're trying to do our best to keep any contaminants out of the air, so we got some zip walls, plastic set up. We're being really careful and mindful to keep things as sanitary as we can in this job site.
Holy moly, it really is that far out level.
Okay, so we were gonna try to save the glass enclosure and just retile, and I told the client, I said, you know, we can't make any guarantees on the glass. For one, we don't know how it was installed. So you can see here, we're plumb, our level's plumb, and we have a 3/16 gap down at the bottom. So we're gonna make this wall flat and plumb, so we're gonna need a new glass enclosure. Same thing with the curb. You look at the curb here, and the curb is, we're probably, what's that gap there?
Quarter.
Let's see, a quarter. Let me get some shims. It's more than that. Yeah, it's about, see, yeah, that's probably a quarter. I can fit almost my whole finger in there if we have the bubble level. So again, with this curb being out of level, the wall being out of plumb, we can't put that glass enclosure back in here because it was cut to these unlevel and unplumbed surfaces. When we make it plumb and level, the glass isn't going to fit, so we're going to have to order a new glass enclosure. Cool. Okay, so I want to see how the bench was done here. If you want to see the video on this tear out, how I diagnosed, this is where the leak was happening. If you want to see that video, I'll put the link in the description. But I'm going to go ahead and I want to see how this bench was waterproof, because this is a really common area that people overlook. And I want to see if there's any water damage to this bench. So it's really important. Any bench like this needs to be waterproofed, right? I mean, this is a critical area that needs to be waterproof. So a lot of guys waterproof the pan and then they do a bench and you get failures because there's not proper waterproofing. I'd say any area that has a flat surface in a shower needs to be waterproofed really well. Let's see what's under this. Pull those pieces off. So it looks like they floated it. Looks like it did a mortar bed on here. Oh my gosh. See, look at this. You got hardiebacker. You see all that water damage. And one thing that people don't realize with hardiebacker, they think it can be wet. While hardiebacker is water resistant, it has fibers in it. So when it gets wet, the top layer of fibers will make it delaminate. So you can see the thin set just popped right off. And the same thing will happen right here. See what it's doing. You see we got mold happening here. And again, it's a good thing we got the air scrubber, HEPA filters and everything. But you can see we got black, and this should really be a surface waterproofing or mortar bed like they did up here. You see they did a 1/2 inch mortar bed up here, but instead they used hardiebacker. Another thing that they didn't do right, in a wet area like this, you want 95% coverage. That means you want 95% of this thin set. See how this is full coverage here? And then you got all of these voids where the ridges didn't collapse. And when that happens, you get places where water collects and mold can grow. So, two things right there that were done wrong. again, look at that. When that hardiebacker gets wet, those fibers just start to fall apart, and it creates a really weak bond there. So I really don't like hardiebacker in showers unless it has a topical waterproofing over it. It's not good if you have the waterproofing behind it, because you'll still get stuff like this. We got rusted screws here. See, there's the hot mop, and they screwed right through the hot mop. So hopefully there's not water damage there. So they did a hot mop underneath it, then they screwed their hardiebacker, and you don't want to screw into your waterproofing because it'll compromise it. And here we have a little bit of fat mud is what they used to float the top of it over the hot mop. So there's the hot mop waterproofing. You see all this is all wet. The TCNA does have a really nice detail on how to waterproof a shower, and I'll reference that page here for you so you can see it. But using a pan liner or a hot mop or waterproofing behind a bench is just not a good way to go. This would have been much better to have either a sheet membrane like Curdy or Red Guard or Laticrete Hydroban, a topical waterproofing, because this just isn't, it's just not done well. Get this one. So again, you see how wet that hardiebacker is, soaked through. And I see a lot of failures when people dip their hardiebacker into the mortar bed because it wicks up the water. There's a misconception between there's a misunderstanding between hardiebacker and cement board like Durock or Wonderboard. Hardiebacker is different, again, because it has those fibers. Durock and cement board is pure cement, so it won't disintegrate. Here's the waterproofing, the hot mop, and then they got the hardiebacker slammed all the way into that hot mop, and then they did their mortar bed up to it. And what that allows, you see right there, that allows the water to just wick up behind there. You see how much water over time, it just acts like a sponge through capillary action. It just pulls it up. So yeah, you can see that's what it looks like when it's dipped down. You see it's still actually wet, and this shower hasn't been used for a couple weeks. You can see it's still wet, and it's got some slimy, gunky stuff. I really like surface applied waterproofing now. That's 95% of what we do. Some people still want us to hot mop, and it's a good method, but nowadays we just have better technology where we can put the waterproofing over this mortar bed right under the tile, so you don't end up with this. Here, I'll show you. You don't end up with this saturated bed of mortar that's supposed to weep. It's just, so if you were to take this and you put the waterproofing right here, the water can't get into this mortar. So newer technology using sheet membranes or Hydroban, much better way to go. This is completely saturated. It's a completely wet piece of mortar. So over time, you know, as water and gunk and, you know, everything that happens in a shower, body oils and all kinds of nastiness, you know, just sits and it gets trapped in here. So much better to go with surface applied membrane. And I'm going to pull a couple of these tiles. This tile was cracked. I noticed it right when we came in here. There was a crack on this tile, so I want to see how this hot mop is kind of tied in to the walls here. Look at that. Just no coverage. They're just dot setting stuff. Look at that. That's about maybe 15-20% of coverage. So just not done well. hardiebacker, you can see when it gets wet over time, it just becomes really brittle. So it's not meant to get wet. Again, if this had a surface waterproofing over it, would have been much better. And if these tiles were bonded well, there's no way they would come off that easy. You just barely hit it with a hammer. And I mean, look at that. That's why that tile cracked. There's nothing there. There's no backer there to hold anything. I mean, this is just a really poor substrate, crumbly hardiebacker. So, anyways, that's how they waterproof this bench. They got screws going through all the waterproofing. No topical waterproofing. Hardiebacker was dipped down into the mortar beds. No coverage. Gosh, and I mean, just stuff like that. Just roofing paper is waterproofing. So yeah, when we go back into this, I mean, it's gonna make an easy tear out. This stuff's gonna come right off. Anyways, we're gonna take the rest of the tile off. Thank you again, Tile Liquidators, for sponsoring this video and giving us the tile for it. If you do want to find out about owning your own tile showroom, I'm going to put a link for Tile Liquidators down there. They're a great company, and you can have your own showroom and have everything set up for you. So anyways, we'll get to tearing this out, and we'll see you on the next video.